Well, hey, and welcome to the Becoming Better podcast. My name's Nate. I'm so glad you're here. Well, on today's episode, Josh, Jason, and I sit down and we talk about our family meeting service. We go over some of the things we didn't talk about and we answer a few of your questions. We'd love to invite you to Wednesday prayer. The church will be open from 6 to 4, and you can come in and just pray. We'll have a few prompts of things you can pray for, but you can also come in and just pray for the things that are on your heart. Would also like to invite you to our 12 o'clock prayer where we as a staff will gather together and anybody else is invited to come, and we'll spend some time leading out in some prayer for Wednesday. And then if you have nothing going on Wednesday night, would love to invite you to our family worship night. We will start that at 5:30 and we'll just be in a time of worship and prayer as well. If you want to find out more that's going on around campus, we'd love to invite you to join us on quadcity.church/events. And you can see everything that we're doing for the month of January and on. Well, without further ado, we hope you enjoy this conversation. How's it going, guys?
Happy Monday, everyone.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
It's 2026. Have you guys written down the date on anything?
I did a couple times.
A couple times?
I'm like, ooh, 26.
Yep. What about you, Jason?
No, I don't write stuff.
I don't write dates.
Okay, there's a debate that goes around every time this time of year of how long do you have to say Happy New Year? Like, there is like a window. What's the window?
I don't know. We haven't talked to any of these people, and so I assumed it would be appropriate to say it today.
I'm just saying there is.
Oh yeah.
Is it who's the guy? Larry David. Is that it? Who's the producer of
Seinfeld?
Yeah,
Larry David.
And I think he's got this whole thing about like you got like 3 days and that's it. I think he might be the one who's you only got like 3 days to say Happy New Year.
Interesting.
So I just wondered, is there a window?
Well, I broke the rule, so I'm 5 days in.
Awkward. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a great question.
I'd say like 10 days.
10 days?
Yeah.
Wow, that feels
only
excessive.
because let me look at my calendar. I feel like I didn't really see anybody until this last Sunday. Like I was just like Sarah and I traveled back on the 31st, flew in to Prescott, and then we stayed home first, second, third, and just unpacked. So first day I saw people was the 4th.
All right.
So, but yeah.
So everybody, it's a new thing for everybody.
Yeah.
For you. All right.
I would bet this week at work, everybody's
Yeah.
saying it. Today, everyone is saying it if they're going into an office.
There you go.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Interesting.
Because you wouldn't have
Yeah.
seen any of your office people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got off the 31st or maybe the 1st. You didn't work Friday, probably. You didn't work Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
We're the weird ones that work on Sunday, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah, I think everybody, I bet today at work is going, hey, Happy New Year. Did you have a good, good holidays?
Yeah.
And
we could have a whole conversation about the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, like it is the lost period. Like it just all melds together. And I don't know about you guys. You just wake up and you're like, what day is it?
Yep.
Is it Wednesday? Is it?
I did.
I don't know the dates. I don't know the day.
I have a couple of those moments.
Of course you did.
No.
Everybody does. Like you're just in these 2 weeks. It's like you just don't even know. It's just a complete mashup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sarah did wake me up on Thursday and Friday thinking it was Sunday and thinking I was late to work, and I was like, no, it's Thursday. So,
But
there-
it just all feels it's out of control.
yeah,
It's out of control.
we should change that. How would we change that, Jason?
I don't know how to change it. I don't even know if we should. It's good. I don't know. You're just going through life, just trying to figure out the day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it like, I think that's how you probably were in your sabbatical, right? With the back half.
Maybe
I saw you one of those days, buddy. I'm telling you, I think that's how you were.
There was a little bit of that, but I felt like even then I had a bit of a rhythm. I knew I was, you get up and you got a few things that you do in the morning. Like I don't have didn't feel like I had any rhythm in the last 2 weeks. Like
Yeah,
there
I
was
would
just
agree with
nothing. And so, but even, yeah. And so it was less so in my sabbatical than in
I'll
the
tell
last 2
you.
weeks.
My amount of I got my little thing on Sunday morning from my iPhone telling me how much phone usage I had.
Playing Farmville.
It has increased dramatically.
The last 2 weeks it did.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's a lot of hours wasted.
Yep.
I did nothing productive
Yeah.
at all. At all. I mean, I don't know, I think I get it at like 10 a.m. on
Yes.
Sunday, and I went,
Yeah. Oh, it makes you pray. You're like, I need to repent
I went, oh,
right now.
Lord, that me.
And it wasn't the Bible app. I was looking at the hours on each one.
Yeah, we played a lot of Go Fish. We got Go Fish for the
Yep.
boys. I played a lot of that with our little one. Oh my goodness, I played so much to the point yesterday. I was like, no, I can't play anymore. I cannot. No more twos.
Yeah.
No more twos. No more. I can't. Yeah. So we always get a game too for like Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So we got Pictionary this year. I'm just not very good at it. Just not a good drawer.
Yeah.
I'm not an artsy person. So I really just me and Silas were just not great.
Yeah.
And he was like, Dad, we should be on the same team. I'm like, we can't.
You don't want that.
We will never like Gideon, like the other one, they do a great job. But I was like, man, I just this is not for me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, so that was what we did. Play a lot of games.
Yep.
Like card games and board games. And so I'm gamed out.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, we did that as well. I got Sarah and I this murder mystery game. It's cool, but it's also not cool because you spend like $40 on this game and you can only play it once.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen- yeah.
So it was fun. So we took it with us to Seattle and played with my family. So it was just fun going through, like, they give you all these notes and you have to solve like these just different riddles and stuff. So we played that for
like the beginning of the like first season of The Office.
yes,
in Savannah.
Yep. So
Wow.
just like that.
Oh, not first season of Office, like fifth season.
Yeah. But yeah, that kind of style. So it was fun. And we left it there for them to give to another friend. So
Oh, that's awesome.
it's kind of the game that just
Because you couldn't play again.
Yeah,
Like you couldn't
yeah.
come play with our staff. 'Cause
no,
you would know the
I
answer.
would know the answer. Yeah. So
You could lead it.
I could. So
Ah.
so I left it there and they're gonna give it to
Jason doesn't seem like a board game kind of guy. Yeah.
'cause he'd
100%.
be bored.
He'd be bored. He'd be
Yeah.
shaking.
I don't like board games, but my youngest loves them. So he gets to go, or cards. But he goes and plays with Nana. So it's
There
great.
you go.
She loves it.
That's
He
where I
loves
learned to play all the games I played was
Yeah.
with my grandma.
Yeah.
So you have built in. Yeah.
it. Yeah. So
I
he gets
send the
to
boys
go-
over to Nana's. I heard Silas. Silas
Oh.
is he is the one. He likes card
She'd
games.
love
And board. He likes to put puzzles together. He's like kind of an old person in the
Yeah.
body of an 8-year-old. Let him go play bunco.
There you go.
And he wins quite a bit when we play. He has this little bit of my mentality. And so he's got good memory,
Yeah.
he's sharp. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and he angers his brothers.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. I see what you're doing there, buddy. I'll send him to Nana. That's
Yep.
it. Done.
She'd love it.
The whole
Yeah.
2 weeks next year, Christmas.
Going
Just,
to
I
Nana's.
need you to go go play with Kathy's.
Go. They would love it. They'd just play them games.
Yep.
I like Bananagrams. It's quick.
Yeah, you do.
That's the game I'll play. Like
Yeah.
Bananagrams, I'm in. I could play 3 rounds and then be done. I
Yeah.
can beat people and then walk away.
I would love
And-
to see you and Brett play against each other.
We do, man. I'm bringing it.
Yeah.
We need to bring it in the office next time. We have
Oof.
like a staff fun day.
Yep. Just see them two. See
Battle
what
it
they come up
out.
with. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
We did that at our staff retreat
We did.
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
in
Flagstaff,
Flagstaff. Yeah.
yeah.
That was fun. So awesome. Well, let's jump in. It's been a couple weeks, but we're going to kind of talk about this last Sunday. So, Jason, you led us, and Josh. That was a fun, just kind of seeing both of you guys up there. I did get a comment saying Jason needs to relax. And I said, whenever he's sitting, he's not relaxed. So they noticed your antsiness.
Oh, you did a good job
Yeah.
this year.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I actually was. I looked over at one point. I was like, "Oh, he's not shaking." That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Sweet.
So
It does. It is interesting how unnerving people get. There
Yeah.
are some people that when my legs are bouncing, they're like, it unnerves them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is about
Yeah, I don't either.
people. There are some people. It
Yeah.
really, It really gets. Are you nervous? Are you over caffeinated? What's going on?
Yes.
Yes to all of it. So
Yes to every answer.
but we got to look back at 2025 and talk through a lot of the cool things we've gotten to see and gotten to do. And it was a great morning. The worship was amazing. But Josh, from your perspective, what stuck out to you? Yeah,
it's fun. Obviously, this is a weekend. It feels different, right? We talk about it every year.
Yeah.
But it's helpful for people to just know, hey, this is who we are. This is what we've done over the year. And it's so difficult because, we sit and talk about what do we want to share. There's so much. And it would be hours and hours and hours and hours that we could tell these stories. And so trying to, the big part is trying to help people understand the, vision of what the church is all about, trying to get new people engaged, but also trying to help people go, oh, well, that's great. I should take that step. So this year, I felt like we did a really good job we offered a lot of different opportunities for people to kind of jump in, wherever they may be, and take some steps. And also trying to, in a way, though, simplify it. Like we actually intentionally don't offer and do a ton of stuff. We're not like, some churches that have thousands of different programs and opportunities because it's just unhelpful, And so, we're more in the simplify model to really help people, kind of live their faith. So that was really cool. So just being able to share that. And then the end, that Jason's kind of motto for 2026. So I am a one-word guy. I haven't done it, though. I haven't done it this year yet. But typically that's, we pick a word or a phrase or something.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah. The family meeting, it is one of those, to Josh's point, we go back and forth on this of how we do it. And is it something we should be doing on a Sunday morning, or do we just do it on a Sunday night? And we've gone back and forth over the years. We just keep coming back to it. And so, I felt like this year, maybe more than any, it just felt like we needed to have some of these conversations on a Sunday morning because we have seen so many new people come in. These are just things that we don't talk about week to week, but are really at the core of who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. And so being able to take advantage of a moment like the first Sunday of the year to just remind us of what we're trying to accomplish and why we're doing it, why it's important, and to Josh's point, give people a next step of, hey, there are things that I can be doing, and we saw some good fruit even from yesterday of people having conversations, and
for sure.
And we've got a couple of emails of things that we didn't talk about and people really wanted to. So we'll for sure chat about that a little bit here too. We can't talk about everything. And so we do have to prioritize what that conversation looks like. I mean, it was a long service anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it took us about 45 minutes to get through all of that.
Right.
And there's so much more. But the conversation around the Excel, wrapping that conversation up, I thought was really helpful. You giving the update around where we're at with our PV campus build, I thought was really, really important. Just reminding us of things like discipleship groups and trying to invite people. Again, if we've had 200 to 300 new people who have joined us since the last quarter of the year, we haven't talked about discipleship groups at all. They have no idea what we're talking about. And so it just felt really important to have those conversations. So grateful for all of you who were here and were a part of that. And thanks for leaning in and allow us to have this public family conversation. We'll dive back into Luke this week, but I'm grateful we did what we did.
Yeah. And it's such a great reminder of just so cool to look back and see everything we have done and everything we've done, but knowing that we're doing so much more.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, I've had a couple conversations of hey, what does your church do? And it's well, how much time do you have?
Right.
Because it's we do a lot. And I love that we don't, I guess the best way to say is we don't try to flash all that, and we don't try to say hey, look at what we're doing. But we do want to say focus on a few of the things, and focus on the few of the things that people can also jump in on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we do so much, and I'm not a great plumber, so I can't be helping in that aspect.
Right.
So to go through and explain like all the jobs that we've helped, families is probably not the best use of our time. But I think for our people to know that there is so much more.
100%.
It's like looking at an iceberg. We only see like the top 10%, but there's just so much underneath that we do get to do. And trusting that, as we're giving to the church, that it is being used for huge kingdom impact that we're not going to see the fruits of.
Right.
And I think that's just a reminder that we just need to keep telling ourselves. And,
100%.
If you do feel like, hey, what's the church doing? We have been so open with it that you could, call
for sure.
And,
absolutely.
Would love to sit down with a pastor and see what's growing underneath. Like we would love to do that.
Absolutely.
We're not hiding anything.
No.
So,
well, let's chat about a few of them. We got a couple of questions that I think will help launch that conversation for us.
Yeah. So the first question we have is from Adam. He says, "Good morning. Excellent update yesterday and great word. Live like Jesus. Short, sweet, and to the point. A great challenge for 2026 and going forward."
Amen.
Here at the 8 o'clock, there was no mention of life group statistics. On behalf of life group member / leader across Quad City, what's up with that? And he spelled.
I think it was sassier than that.
There was a lot
It
more.
was a little sassier than that, Adam.
I felt it.
Yeah, for sure. I read it as, "What's up with that?"
And
So what's up with that?
Well, again, to your point, we sit down and we have a list of things. We're like, hey, what are we highlighting? What are we talking about? What are we mentioning? What are we doing? What are we, and again, it just becomes, okay, for 2026, what are we talking about? Like, what is the goal for people to launch into? What is the goal for people to kind of navigate around? And how do we tell this story of what we've done in a year and be really compelling?
Yeah.
Again, life groups haven't changed in the model and their importance in our church. They're a great avenue for people to come out of men's breakfast and connection events to move into life groups, to hopefully move into discipleship groups. The challenge for us is, as we looked over the last year, is we're doing a pretty decent job of life groups. Where we've kind of hit some hangups is connection groups. We've not done a great job of moving people out of the big room into a smaller room before we moved, to Jason's point, to a living room. And then we weren't moving into the deep place where we want people to actually know our sin and hold us accountable.
Yeah.
And so for 26, we went, well, again, you always have to pick. Like, as by nature is, like, you got to kind of hold up one thing and kind of run after it for a little bit. And again, as a lead team, as we looked at this past year, it's like, okay, there are some things we're going to fix just with some on-ramps, but life groups, people have been in them and been super engaged, and people seem to be able to get connected. The challenge always with life groups is just having new leaders, but it seems like they're working. Like groups are meeting, and so to say all that that's kind of one of the reasons is we looked and tried to identify for 26 is we need to really get better at just helping people get connected in not the living room, but just overall. Mm-hmm. And then we looked at and said, man, okay, we 2 years ago said we want everyone in a discipleship group. And by nature, for a year, we haven't really talked about it because we've been talking about other things. Yeah. And we go, and Jason's heartbeat is this. Yeah. The elders' heartbeat is discipleship. It was one of the visions that were given to us a couple of years from our elders, and that hasn't gone away. And so that's just the tension of when you're trying to manage and lead and share vision. Something, not that it's not still something we hold to.
Right.
It just is. It just didn't get airtime on Sunday in a way. So,
to answer your question, Adam, just the statistics is right now, per 15 minutes ago, from our adult ministry teams, we have 56 groups that are going right now that are that have 509 people involved in them. So, to Josh's point, our groups have been going well. Obviously, we're always looking to add and train up new leaders. But the bigger concern was, how do we get people into these connection events, and how do we get people, more importantly, into discipleship groups? One of the things that I've said, and I've said it publicly, and I say it with our team, is that if you just have an hour, like if we're just going to devote, take the Sunday morning out, if you just give me an hour somewhere during the week, I think the greatest bang for the buck is going to be that discipleship group. And so that's why we're trying to pound the drum for that. We feel like that is going to be ultimately the place where the greatest sanctification is going to happen. It is the greatest opportunity for confession and repentance and accountability. That happens more in a discipleship group than even a life group. Life groups are great and they can help build relationships, but there are conversations that you just as a man, you're just not going to have with 3 dudes and their wives. You're just not going to do that. And so how do we get to the real hard, difficult things in our life and share them in a way that's helpful, that drives us to change? And so that's why we spend a little more time talking about discipleship groups rather than the life groups. We love our life groups. They are part of our discipleship funnel. But again, the goal would be, and some of our life groups are doing this, are moving from the life group into discipleship groups. Like we know some life groups that they'll have 5 couples and they'll take those 5 couples and they'll have group time together. And then the dudes go off and they make a discipleship group out of them. And the same with the women. We'll make a discipleship group out of them. And so again, so that we can get to those deeper conversations that you're just not typically going to have in mixed company. So
in the same way, we even have a deeper level, kind of discipleship groups and then one-on-one discipleship.
Yeah.
Right. Like we didn't, didn't talk about that either. So just, again, trying to navigate and find the rhythms and the places to kind of have those conversations is always, really, but again, our leadership team, we look at group numbers every Monday.
Yeah.
Like every Monday, we track this data. We're looking at it because we do hold it as a high value. Yeah. Again, we just are trying to figure a way even more so to go, all right, discipleship groups feels like we need to reinvest some time and energy and effort into this. And again, for all the new people that are there. But yeah, you'll hear about groups at some point too, probably over the first quarter of this year. Just as we're starting up Luke, we think it's a great opportunity for people to jump in and join in with a life group and be able to hear a sermon and then be held accountable to do the thing you heard.
Yeah.
Like this week, it should be, if you're joining with your life group, okay, how are you not living like Jesus? How are you living like Jesus? Like that should be what do you feel like needs to change for 26?
Yeah.
Or what do you need, and what do you need to keep doing for 26 would be the, the goal. So, absolutely love them. They're a huge part of what we try to do here. It is, though, we would talk about everything, forever.
Yeah.
Jason would have been up there for hours. We already felt like we were there for hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So awesome. And then Pat Kelly submitted a question. She said, appreciate the information given at the family meeting. The future of Quad City was set out basically emphasizing continued attention to scripture and prayer and increased emphasis on recruiting young people. Where is the commitment to service? Where is Christian faith in action? Are we not supposed to live our faith by doing Christ's work to help those who cannot help themselves, those who are poor, homeless, ill, grieving, and otherwise in need? Will Quad City expand its effort in that direction? If so, tell us about those plans.
Yeah, it's really good. One of the things, so to answer a question, yes, absolutely. We believe as we study the scriptures and I think when we are going to spend the whole next year and more. He said a year when he was talking about Luke.
He did.
I was like,
I said we're going to spend all of this year.
It's really good, yeah. But anyway, again, we're going to hang out with Jesus and we're going to see how he serves people and how he does serve. We already made note of it, the poor and the least of these and that kind of stuff, right? And it's why when we tried to, in August of this past year, we started that whole initiative around not to be served. Like we're trying to help our people get their minds around this, that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Yeah. Like that was not just a one-time thing, is trying to find ways that becomes a part of our DNA. And yeah, it's here on Sunday morning, but yeah, it's outside the walls. And that's so hard to quantify because there's so much stuff that people are just doing naturally. There are things that are happening, but we support a decent amount of missions work here in the Prescott area, from CCJ, which works only with homeless people trying to house. That's their biggest, they have a shelter too, but their biggest thing is just trying to figure out housing for people who can't afford housing. A Safe Place is now, they have a shelter and the mobile homeless ministry that they do in PV. We serve the Pregnancy Help Center, which again, most of the time is moms and, usually those in poverty generally are making those decisions. Obviously, Village of Hope is a huge ministry that we support. Again, most of the moms in there, they're usually coming out of poverty. If you look at their socioeconomic status, that's what they're out of, right? They're not in homes that are generally, right?
And the leadership for that
is all of our church.
It's all of our church.
The
Many
board,
volunteers.
the volunteers that serve outside of hours that I would even know of, right? Like that have found these missions and these ministries and these ways to care, right? We have 2 grief ministries, right? We have one here in Prescott, one in Prescott Valley. And so like serving the least of these is, again, speaking of the Hispanic population, I mean, I would assume that the majority are immigrants and the least of these who Jesus tells us to care for. And we've said we're going to do that, right? Even if we're going to serve them. They're going to come in and we're going to offer to teach English, and we're not going to ask questions. Like that's what we've committed to doing, even if it angers people, like, because we think that's what Jesus would do, right? We probably spent $30,000 this year in benevolence to help people connected to our church in situations where they need help. There are handymen who've done all kinds of work at widows' houses, or now young and old, right? That we've had experience stuff. So there is a lot of stuff that we are doing, and the hope that it would come out of as we're reading the scriptures and seeing the scriptures, that I am encouraged to serve and do these kinds of things. There are times that we will do a serve day like we did, and it is great. And we always are serving the school, and there's always kind of opportunities like that. But some of the stuff is so hard, to Nate's point, underneath the iceberg of stuff that is happening. So, Pat, I would just encourage you. There is a ton of stuff that is going on. There's a ton of mission work that we're trying to support. You know, some of our goal, Jason talks about this all the time, is he has 35 minutes.
Yep.
He wants to help people understand the Bible, to know the Bible better, to then live like Christ calls us to live and be obedient. That's why we don't talk about a lot of the other things. It's not because they're not important. In the same way I would say with this work, like, we also partner with organizations that can dedicate their entire time with that.
Yeah.
We're trying to transform people's life. And then when they go, okay, what do I do? What's next? Then we can try to plug them into places and serve and use their gifts and use their talents, right? It is this balance work of doing justice work, right? We should care about, when we're redeemed by Jesus, we should care about the world in which we live and making it a place of shalom exists. So I'm all in for all of that, right? Again, personally serve on multiple boards that I'm passionate about this.
Yeah.
Right. But there's other people who are super passionate about serving in areas that I don't necessarily have that passion for.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they do that. I think it's super amazing and super cool. So there is a ton of stuff that is happening. So again, we just can't share all of that.
Yeah.
We're sitting here right now, and I'm looking out the window. We're in the green room behind the kitchen in the auditorium. And we have a family that just pulled up in a car, and they are unloading groceries to prepare food for our
Tuesday night meal.
For our community meal on Tuesday night, where we'll have 75 people who fit into this category of people who just need some help, and they're grieving and they're hurting. They're poor. Some of them are homeless. Like, all runs across the gamut. And we have a bunch of volunteers that come in to serve in that ministry. And so that stuff's going to continue. And again, what I'd say, Pat, is, you asked there, are we not to live out our faith? And what I'd say is, go back and listen to the last 5 minutes of the message on Sunday. Like, the whole ending was just, we are called to live like Jesus. And then I gave this whole list of things that Jesus did that we are supposed to do. And serve was one of those, and sacrifice was one of those, and give was one of those. Like, we are to do these things as Jesus did. The thing that I think maybe you were looking for that I didn't give, or we didn't give, was, what is the program that the church is going to do? And it's not a program. There is no program for this. This is, hey, Pat, where in your life are you seeing this? And are you living like Jesus in the midst of it? There are things that we're doing collectively as a church to support all of these ministries. And then some. We could talk about the ministry at the reservation we've supported for years. And these literally are the poorest in our state. Like, by demographic, they are the worst off in the whole state. And we we pour resources into that, and we've had volunteers that go up there and we serve, we give them food. We've boxing meals for them. Like the when we do the meal pack, we send food up there to the, like, all of that stuff is 100% things that we do programmatically. But what really is going to make the biggest difference is when you see lives transformed by the gospel. And we've got 1,500 of them in a room, and we help each of those take a step to be transformed like Jesus. The natural outpouring of that is going to be loving and serving those that Jesus loved. I'm going to give you one quick story that I received this past week that I just thought was so good. This came out of Pastor Richard with our Hispanic ministry, shared this with me. So I'm going to give a shout out to some of what happened that, again, I didn't even know about, but this is happening. Okay, so here's the email. Richard shares about a young man, a gentleman named Ernesto. He says, Ernesto is a new baptized believer. Frank Colburn, who is the one that is behind and helps with our community meal here in Prescott. That's a parenthetical note there. Frank Colburn has been ministering to the ESL group by bringing vegetables and fruits and meats to assist this community during these challenging times. Ernesto and his wife, Hilda, again, new believers, are packaging these fresh food items and taking them to their neighbors in their community as a witness from our church. Ernesto and Hilda, with gratitude and new joy, have taken this on as a ministry. They are spreading the gospel seed everywhere, always. Praise God. And so, again, this is a new believer who's come to know Jesus, and the natural outpouring of that is I'm going to go serve my neighbors. And again, this is into a community of people who are hurting, and so they took it upon themselves to go give food away, vegetables and fruits and meats, and package them up for families in need. So I just want you to know, Pat, this is happening, and it's happening all around us. There's multiple more stories like this that we could share, but again, we only have the opportunity. We didn't talk about hardly any of our missions yesterday, like any of the outreach stuff, the things that are happening in Japan or Indonesia or the reservation, or like any of that stuff, Village of Hope, like any of the community meals. We didn't even talk about that yesterday. There's so much of that kind of stuff we have shined a spotlight on before, right, but we just didn't this time.
Yeah. Again, we at Thanksgiving, we partnered with the food bank here in Prescott and bought basically all of the sides for 175, 200 Thanksgiving boxes. Right. So this is what we did.
Yeah.
Right. We had done it before with students, and we had done like 30 or 40 boxes, but this year we're able to do more. And part of that was because of Excel funds, but also because there was a greater need in our community.
Yeah.
And so there was a volunteer who put it all together for us, and we were able to connect with the food bank, and we're able to provide stuff for those in our community who needed that, who just needed food. Right. And so again, our PV team has worked out something. They do backpack food to the middle school, I think monthly.
Yeah, monthly. Prescott and Prescott Valley.
And Prescott and Prescott. So again, there's tons of stuff that is happening. And I would concur with Pat in it should be the natural response of those who love Jesus and follow Jesus. We should serve like Jesus did.
Yeah.
100%. And there are tons of stories. And so I do think we will be challenged over the course of our time in Luke even more so. I think all of us will begin to look at the life of Jesus and begin to look at who Luke shines a spotlight on. I mean, just Corey did it a couple of weeks ago when he was preaching, reminding us of Joseph and Mary, that they were poor, that they were family just trying to be obedient, and they still served God.
Yeah.
How much more should, those of us who do those things? Like, so I am somebody who is with you and is passionate and beats the drum, and is trying to figure out. So just this morning, I'm at the gym, and this lady comes out of the bathroom. And I think she slept there all night. And another lady goes, "Oh, I can't believe that she would sleep there." And I'm like, "Yeah, she's probably homeless. Probably the only way she can go."
Yeah.
And like my heart broke in that moment. And like, I don't know this girl. It's the first time I've seen her. And she walks out. I'm just, again, like, man, Lord, all right, God, now that maybe my interactions is what I'm trying to think of, like, how can I help? How can I point her to some of these places that we do support, right? This other person, again, I'm not trying to pass judgment. She was like disgusted. And my heart was like, only because of Jesus would I even care in that.
Yeah.
Moment. I'm just trying to work out, man. But like all morning now, I'm thinking about this young lady who's in such a situation that she's having to sleep in a bathroom of a gym all night. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's not the only one I've noticed there. And my wife she always talks about, it's like, how do you know? I'm like, I don't know. You just see it. Once you kind of work in, you just always see it. So my eyes are more aware of it. And that's kind of what you're saying is like, that's what should happen with all of us is what am I seeing and recognizing?
Yeah.
And then because of what resources do I have? What opportunities do I have that can help connect people? I'm looking out yesterday and there's a young lady who's sitting with one of our pastor's wives who we've been able to help in a situation of some domestic violence. And like, they're just going to church now together and they're building a friendship and they're loving. So like all of this stuff is happening because it's like, oh, that's what happens when you live and love like Jesus does. Yeah. Like all of these things. So yes, hopefully all of us have those stories and we should. Hopefully we were challenged yesterday to go, oof, maybe I'm not giving and serving and doing things and holding babies or whatever it may be that you're passionate about. But again, I really do believe as we study through Luke, I think I would imagine we're going to be more challenged. So I'm excited to spend the rest of this year in doing that. And this maybe is the answer to Jason's question. Send us this email of what the things people are doing.
Yeah.
Because to your point, I didn't know anything about this family in PV who's packing vegetables. I didn't know Frank was doing that. I'm not surprised if Frank is taking food over there. But I just don't know because there's so many of us. It is so hard to get a understanding on.
Let me share one more and then we'll be done. Let me share one more with you, Pat. I know, knowing Pat, her heart for those who are grieving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And we had the opportunity on Saturday to serve a family in our community, a local police officer who had a baby, and the baby passed away at 7 days old. And just a tragic story of, full term and everything was healthy. And then something happened in the last couple of days of the pregnancy. And the little girl survived 7 days outside of the womb. And our staff was able to come alongside. They're not members here. They don't attend here on a regular basis. But they needed someone to help with the funeral. And our team probably put 30 to 40 man hours in helping to serve this family and do that funeral. And so that was on Saturday that we did that. And because they were hurting and we just want to come alongside. And it's part of the DNA of our church that when somebody is in needs help like that, our team is willing to step up and do that. Nobody got paid for that. It was just, we just did it. This is what we do. And so, again, we don't want to stand up and wave a banner and
yeah, it's hard.
And just talk about all of these things all of the time. So while I appreciate your desire, Pat, to make sure that the heart of the church is in the right place, because that's where Jesus' heart is. I can just, it's hard to stand up and to say those things and do it in a way that doesn't feel as if you are
looking for a pat,
being boastful, or a pat on the back, or trying to manipulate in some way. And so that's why we're just not gonna make that as a habit to say those things all the time, all these things that are happening all the time. But I just hope Pat, that those things are happening, and they're happening in ways that we don't even know of, the ways that people are serving people.
Oh yeah, there's probably hundreds of stories.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear them again, and not so that because they're probably thinking, well, it's weird if I share that story. I get it.
Yeah.
It is really difficult to be like, let me tell you this thing Jesus did through me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is this there is something that we begin to open our eyes and begin to see these things and begin to find ways to just say yes. I think that's to Jason's point, he's trying to say our default here is what we try to do is we try to say yes. We try to, that's our default is we want to say yes to people in our community, people in our church. And so, how do we do those things? And generally what we found is programs are not, it's generally not that we do those. We did the Serve Day and it was awesome. And we want to try to do that again because there is something, we're going to take our students to Mexico and there is something about collectively doing it as a group that does spur you on to want to keep doing it for sure. Absolutely. 100%.
The part that I'm excited about is the focus on the prayer. I love that we're focusing on that. And I think the Luke series that we're in with, tying that into prayer and being more, just more committed to listening to what God is putting on our hearts is going to be something that can make 2026 just kind of explode to what Quad City can do. So
absolutely.
Just a reminder, we got the Wednesday worship night. And this week we're also doing the Wednesday prayer 6 to 4. So if you're
and a noonday prayer.
And a noonday prayer.
If you want to come, again, it's 15, 20 minutes. We'll just pray together. It'll be, you kind of be led through it. It'll be moments of response, moments of silence, moments of, prayer to yourself out loud. Again, it'll just be an opportunity to kind of pray together in more of a led type of way, I guess you would say.
Yeah. And then if you're listening to this and you need, if you've heard the message and you just don't know what the next step is, I want to encourage you to just call us. And we'd love to sit down with you and just hear what's on your heart and figure out how to make that next step with you for that. So you can visit the office, call us, email, do all that. But hope you guys have a good week and we'll see you Sunday.